When the only constant in life is change, you need to be ready. This is the Man-Made Survival Show.
Hello everybody, my name is Jose Prado, Man-Made Survival, and thank you so much for coming back to the channel and watching this video. I greatly appreciate it because this information is very critical. The more information you have, the better prepared you will be. Now, I want to remind you that we have raised the crisis level to red, and red reads bug out. Everyone in their bug in, bug out location with the self-sustaining infrastructure running and 24-hour perimeter check. The reason I say that is because things are going to get really bad, and they're starting to loot the stores. They're starting to, cause chaos around the country. But before I go any further, I want to remind you about my free book that I'm giving away. It's called Preppers Secrete Cache. You can go to www.preppersecretcache.com and you can order the book on there. The book is free. All we need your help with is the shipping. The book retails for $25 and the shipping is like $7, so you are getting it for free. But anyways, putting that aside, on the previous video I played a video of Trump finally saying that this virus is real, and pretty much blowing the whole hoax out of the water because, or destroying it, because now he's the one coming out and acknowledging that this is really going on. In the previous video, we talked about how in a few weeks, in a few months, in the next 3 months, the unemployment could be 32% of the American population. That could be a total of 50 million people. And some other projections are saying that it could be 50% instead of 32%. That could be more than 150 million people unemployed. All right, so just fathom that fact, because that is a very devastating thing to even think about. That's why I say Venezuela, the same situation that Venezuela has been going through for so many years now, could be happening in the United States. And you need to get ready today before that happens. My first headline of this second part video is A Perfect Storm. U.S. facing hunger crisis as demand for food banks soar. This from theguardian.com. An unprecedented number of Americans have resorted to food banks for emergency supplies since the coronavirus pandemic triggered widespread layoffs. The demand for food aid has increased as much as 8-fold in some areas, according to an investigation by The Guardian, which gives a nationwide snapshot of the hunger crisis facing the U.S. as millions become unemployed. About 1 in 3 people seek groceries at non-for-profit pantries last month have never previously needed emergency food aid. According to an interview with a dozen providers across the country, the National Guard has been deployed to help food banks cope with the rising demand in cities including Cleveland, Phoenix, and St. Louis, amid growing concerns that the supplies may run low as the crisis evolves. All right, and it's not just those cities. It's also in California. If I'm not mistaken, it's in the Carolinas. I mean, places throughout the country that they're seeing unemployment, and they have to resort to going into the pantries, right? And again, I am not criticizing those people. If you need to, you need to go. You need to get prepared for what's coming, all right? Because it looks like this could be Venezuela in a month or two. I mean, not even that long from now. All right. So that as the supplies run low, things will get even more like nervous. People are gonna be more nervous. They're gonna be people are gonna be looking for answers elsewhere. If they cannot find food or they don't have the money for it, they're gonna resort to looting. They're going to resort to robbing people or, even home invasions to get what they need. And there's people who are already talking that way, that if they don't have what they need, they will go to their neighbor's house and take what they have. So people are starting to have that mentality already, and you need to get prepared for something like that. All right. I want to show a video of how long the the lines have become for people waiting to receive this aid. Here's that video.
If there is one image that can clearly show us how this health crisis has become an economic crisis in this country, it is this right here. The Pittsburgh Gazette captured video of hundreds of cards lining up for the Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank before it opened yesterday. Some waited 5 hours as volunteers distributed emergency supplies to 1,500 families, and then they ran out. Joining me now, the CEO of the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, Lisa Scales. Lisa, I imagine you've never seen anything like this.
We have not. This is certainly unprecedented, Katie.
How will you meet the demand?
Well, we have developed new and different ways to get food to people. And you just saw an example on the screen of one of our new no-touch drive-up distributions. And that's one of the ways that we're meeting the demand. We're serving 1,000 cars at a time. We're doing these large-scale community food distributions, and we're serving many people who are newly unemployed.
What kind of people are lining up?
Many of the people who are lining up have recently lost their job. They're frightened. They're not sure that they will have enough food to feed themselves and their families. There's a lot of concern in the community about having enough food.
Are these people that have just lost their jobs? I mean, I guess the answer to that question is yes, because these lines would not have been so long. Are they people who were living paycheck to paycheck? Are they filing for unemployment? Are you hearing any of the stories?
Yes, Pennsylvania has one of the highest rates of unemployment filings in the country. So many of them are living paycheck to paycheck. I spoke recently with a woman who worked for a florist. We've seen people who work at fast food restaurants, but there are many people who had a decent income, and they've never experienced having to go to a food bank for food. And so this is certainly new for them.
How do people help? The ones that are going to watch this and they're going to see this line, they're going to say, I need to hold a food drive, or I've got to send this food bank all of the canned goods that I can find at my grocery store. You put a pause on food drives. Explain to me why and what the best way is for people to help if they want to get involved.
That's right. We have put a pause on our collecting food from food drives. We cannot ensure the safety of the food product that's coming to us from a food drive. Plus, the process of collecting food is community members coming together to put food in barrels, and people here in Pennsylvania are being encouraged to shelter in place. So we don't want to encourage people to contribute to going out into the community. So we have put a pause on that. What we've done instead is that we're making large purchases. We're purchasing food by the tractor trailer load. Many of those are shelf-stable items like tuna fish, peanut butter, pasta sauce.
Lisa Scales. Lisa, thank you so much for what you're doing and for getting food out to people who need it. We appreciate it here, and probably not half as much as the folks out in Pittsburgh appreciate it. So thank you very much for joining us, and good luck.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes.
All right. So that's why you need to take care of your own food security. If you have the space right now, you need to go ahead and plan your garden out. And if you have the space, you need to go ahead and go buy chickens, buy their feed. All right, chickens, ducks, rabbits, whatever the space you have for, because there will be your grocery store when you either no longer have the money or there's no longer items on the shelves. All right, so you need to go ahead and take care of that right now, because that's exactly what happened in Venezuela. Venezuela stopped seeing products. They didn't have the money for it. They just looted everything, and then they after they looted everything, then there was nothing else on the shelves or anything like that. And then they were starving, and they were going to the other countries, neighboring countries, to be able to get their food. All right, now here's another headline. Uproar among workers supplying the world's meat is spreading. This from yahoo.com. A growing number of workers who are crucial to supplying the world with meat are demanding that their companies do more to keep them safe from the coronavirus. labor unions are starting to speak out as their members fall ill. There are reports of increased absentees, and some frontline workers have even walked off the job. That's raising the specter of mass protests that could threaten global meat supplies, just as supply chains unravel and grocery stores struggle to keep food on their shelves. The first case of the workers at the major U.S. meat producer tested positive for the coronavirus was reported last week at poultry giant Sanders Farms, Inc. Since then, infections have cropped up everywhere from JBSSA plant in Iowa to Harmony Beef in Alberta. There you have it. That is why you need to have food security, and you take care of it, because when these people walk off the job and they can no longer ship, to the grocery stores, you won't be able to buy it. And that's meat, right? When it becomes eggs, canned foods, and everything else, we will feel the pain. All right, now that is also bringing the worst in people. Mask raiders, shocking picture shows coronavirus looters in face masks after attacking shops during lockdown. So this is from The Sun. All right, so pretty much what those people did is that they went in there and they tried to steal the products from inside because they were taking advantage that everything was locked down. Here's the next headline from Zero Hedge. Depression strikes America. Looting begins. Panic searching. Buy ammo hits records. With the labor market in freefall, 10 million Americans have lost their jobs in 2 weeks. The Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies recently warned that a social bomb could explode at any moment over Western cities. That has become the evolution of the pandemic, which has crashed the American economy into a depression, could result in a social unraveling into major metros, specifically in low-income areas. We've noticed in the last several weeks that Americans are panic hoarding guns as the fear of social unrest could be imminent. President Trump signed an executive order last Friday that allows for up to 1 million National Guards and reservists to be called up to fight the virus or to be used to maintain social order. And it's exactly what I have been saying before this article even came out. That one of the reasons why they called up the 1 million people, or they will be able to call 1 million people, is because either war or social unrest that they're preparing for. Signs of social unrest are already starting to develop this week. Law enforcement agencies in South Carolina and California have charged people with looting businesses during shutdowns, reported The Sun. Police in Santa Cruz, California, arrested 5 people who were robbing businesses in the city despite a shelter-in-place public health order enforced by the state government. In South Carolina, police arrested 2 men as they attempted to raid a storage warehouse unit. Many Americans recognize the writing on the wall the writing on the wall of what could happen next. That is, the possibility of social unrest. And it makes sense why gun stores saw record sales across the country last month, with weapons and ammo in short supply. Now Google searches for buying ammo online are surging to a record high as America faces a new reality that a pandemic could trigger a social unraveling of the nation. All right, this could lead into a civil war, because people are gonna find, or they're gonna try to find someone to blame. They're gonna find someone to put the blame on the sorrow that they're feeling, that they're not able to feed their family, that they have lost their home because they couldn't pay their mortgage. They lost their apartment because they couldn't pay their rent. That's 50 million people plus. 50 million people plus, angry, desperate, in despair. They're gonna do whatever they can to survive. And that also means if they have to go from house to house to get what they need. That's why you need to get prepared. If you are able to go to your bug out location, you need to go ahead and go. This is why we are on level red. For the people for the man survival audience, all right, this is my warning to you. Go to red, level red. and start putting the infrastructure in place if you don't have it already to be self-sustained, all right? Because things are gonna get very ugly very quickly. Venezuela style. If you've never seen anything from Venezuela, I suggest you do it. And now that I think about it, I'm gonna edit this video and I'm gonna put a video of Venezuela in here, all right, here at the end. I'll probably several videos. But anyways, I want to remind you before I sign out about my book, Preppers Secrete Cache. You can go to www.preppersecretcache.com and you can order it, or you can click the link below. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of precious information in here, all right? And you're getting this for free. So I would ask you to go in there and get it, so you can see, or you can get tips on things to do. All right, I talk about a lot of things in the book. Just now that I'm thinking about it, the list of things that we talk about is anarchy, which we could see here in the next few weeks, artificial intelligence, asteroids, chemical war, earthquakes, food shortages, which is something we're talking about today, government martial law, which is something that could be a byproduct of the social unrest, hurricanes, nuclear war, civil unrest, which is what we were talking about just now, tsunami, tornadoes, and water shortages. So this is why I urge you to get this book. This is why I suggest you to get this book, because I've put that information in here, all right? And it's very relevant right now. So do not delay. But again, my name is Jose Prado, Amendment Survival, always ready.
La cola, the line. This is how Venezuelans spend most of their time now, in line not for luxuries, but basics. Your next meal, soap for your next load of laundry, diapers for your baby's next nappy change. She says she left her home at 4 a.m., like many here waiting for government rations that are dwindling, ravaged by hyperinflation, government mismanagement, and an oil crisis.
These types of lines are popping up all over Caracas. People here are looking for flour and pasta. Some of them were here this morning. They were told the store had absolutely nothing. And that's the kind of scavenger hunt that's happening throughout Venezuela. People just trying to find the basics can't find them.
We're not allowed to shoot inside, but outside, people tell us they line up for hours and still get nothing.
Don?
Some shoppers with whom I spoke said they got to the store as early as 5 a.m. hoping to beat the crowds, only to find hundreds, if not thousands of other people had the same exact idea. Before the sun even rose Saturday morning, this is what it looked like outside the Winco supermarket on Coffee Road. Hundreds of people waiting in line to get inside.
I've been here since 10 minutes to 5. It's almost 6:30.
James Johnson was patient as the store allowed only 15 people to enter at a time. He came knowing it, and this was not the only Costco with long lines. At the Costco on Panama, the line extended all the way to the street, and in South Bakersfield, hundreds waited to get into the Foods Co. store on White Lane.
What's better about Costco is it's organized.
As for Ramsauer, she acknowledges Costco is limiting shoppers on the amount they can buy for certain items, but even so, she says she will walk away pleased if she gets what she wants.
I will.
The Man-Made Survival Show.